Okay, good morning. Happy Thursday morning. I always like to start on time, but I know that a lot of people filter in. And today, I will remind you, is a Thursday. Every other Thursday we have with our team. It is called Mastermind, and it's where rubies and above get to be in what we call our $1 million container. And it's so good. And we have Mastermind today. So I always try, and that starts at 10. So it I'll try and make it just a little bit short. So I want to make sure that I start on time. It's been a crazy morning already, but I am here for it. So one of the things that we need to be doing as business owners, as people who want to build our business and just continually taking steps in the right direction, is we talk a lot about personal growth, right? It is about who we are becoming in the process of building a business. And it's just super cool. Turn that off. Sorry. And because really, when I look back, I've been doing this for over 8 years. And when I look back to the person who started this versus who I am today, it's night and day. The personal growth, who I have become, how my mind thinks, who I surround myself with, the inspiration, the motivation, understanding how the brain works, what you focus on, you know, doing the what we think is the hard thing now, so that later in life it may be easier or simpler or whatever that may be. Like so many things. And really reading books has been one of them. I'm a person who is a little bit slower of a reader. I like to read every word, and if I daydream for a second, I have to go back and reread it. It's ridiculous. Megan is the same way. I don't know if I passed that down to her, but I initially thought, and again, mindset things, I can't listen to books and have any comprehension. That's just a lie that we're telling ourselves. I have listened to more books and learned more things. And a lot of times, Meg and I will, and Alita will go into a chat that we have. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm reading this. And this is what was so cool. And then, and then again, of course, sometimes we teach on it. You learn it, you teach it, you pass it along. That's how you really allow it to sink in. So right now, I am reading The Slight Edge, and I've wanted to read it forever, and I was like, Cheryl, just start reading it, and it's really good. And the funny thing is, we always talk about the difference between successful and unsuccessful people. There's not a lot of difference. It is crazy. We just keep doing the things that matter. um and I feel like this really applies to athletes or competitions as well, because, you know, it's like, what is the difference between somebody who wins the marathon and someone who doesn't? They both had the goal, right? But a lot of it is these seemingly insignificant steps that we do over and over and over again. And that's kind of where the slight edge concept comes in. And he'll go through a whole bunch of different ones, and that matter, that give you the slight edge and whatever it is that you want to apply it to. But I picked today the one quality, right, that gives you the slight edge is mastering the mundane. And I thought, and the more and more I listened to it, I thought, oh my gosh, like this is so good. I feel like we know this, but just the way he talked about it and gave us a couple points and things like that. So I really wanted to share it with you today. I hope I can get in as much as possible. And here's the thing with the mundane and all of that. It it's not that I don't know, there's a lot of things about it, but when you're looking at it, it's the easy choices that you make every day that create your success. But it's just as easy or simple not to do them. And the other thing, I'm kind of give you a little bit of summary, and then I'll go into the three things. And it's like, well, maybe you're just not seeing it. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, doing this, doing this. It's seemingly insignificant until it isn't, right? It doesn't matter until all of a sudden it does. And, you can look at that. I love the way a lot of comparisons have to do with like relationships, knowledge, nutrition, weight, business, right? They all have the same concepts. You might be watching what you're eating, making the good, simple, easy choices of what you put into your mouth. And it doesn't matter today. You don't see a difference. You don't see a difference when you go into the gym. All those things in one day. Sometimes you don't see a difference in a week or two or a month, but then all of a sudden you see a difference. But it didn't just happen that day when you got on the scale or you felt better or your pants felt better or you started to build muscle or whatever that is, right? Or, oh my gosh, 5 people joined me today, right? It didn't happen today. It was all those seemingly insignificant steps that you took up until that time, right? We don't build a team in one day or lose weight or figure out clean nutrition, or it is just all that quiet work and those decisions one by one by one, kind of the compound effect that leads to success, right? Because it's just as easy to make the choices that lead to unsuccess, right? You get up, you work out, you could say that's easy. That's simple, right? He says easy, but a lot of them I think might be more simple than easy, but that's just me. But it's just as easy to walk by that exercise bike or not get in the car to go to the gym or what I'm tired to. It's just as easy, right? It's just as easy to say no to a dessert as it is to say, what, no, thank you. Right? Doesn't make a difference that day. It's seemingly simple to just say yes. You know what? I'm going to do that one more message. But it's just as easy to say, what doesn't matter? And you don't do it. It's just as easy to say, yes, I'm going to follow up. I have all these people I did message. I'm going to follow up with them. It's just as easy to say, I've already messaged them 20 times. It doesn't matter. It's just as easy in your attitude, a different attitude, a different mindset, a different energy. But it's just as easy to say, screw it. I'm not doing it today. That's almost easier, right? Okay. So, but it doesn't get us everywhere. Okay. So only 5% of the people ever achieve the success that they hope for. The other 95% fail or fall short, and the only difference is the slight edge. Okay? The only difference is that the 5% master the mundane that literally anyone can do. And we talk about this a lot in network marketing. It is a level playing field. Everyone comes in at the same point with nobody and basically no experience, right? So even if someone has been in a network marketing company before, when they started. They had no one, they had no knowledge, they had nothing. We all start the same playing field. It's what you do with that that matters, okay? So, and people don't do the mundane for 3 reasons. While they're easy to do, they're just as easy not to do. You don't see any results at first, right? Think about the 90-day rule until all of a sudden you do see. And they seem insignificant, like it doesn't really matter, but it does. Okay, right? So, if we think about, and again, I'll talk about the business too, but it's so easy to understand with nutrition and fitness, right? It's no mystery what causes people to be overweight, right? 1 in 3 in the United States are obese. Okay, there are 30,000 fitness clubs in the United States. There are books and all kinds of things and programs that help people lose weight. Why are we still so freaking obese, right? And one of the other things is nutrition is such an important factor in like heart disease or cancer or diabetes, right? Our business, diabetes, that's what the pink drink was created for. Yet most people are digging their own grave bite by bite. Okay, so the point is, right? Like, what's the point? We know all these things, and yet the majority of people don't do anything about it. Well, why not? Right? Because because again, the slight edge habits are so easy to do, and it's going to lead to phenomenal success. So why doesn't everyone do them? Right? That's, of course, the $10 million question. But number one, like I said, they are easy to do, but just as easy not to do, right? The simple habits of success are just as easy to do, are just as easy not to do, okay? And another good example is really the compounding effect of money and savings, right? So it seems so insignificant, right? So easy to put $1 a day away, right? It's just as easy to say, oh, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, right? It's just as easy to do. I'm so sorry. That to do 15 minutes of movement or exercise or cardio or whatever it is, it's just as easy to not. It's just as easy to walk a mile, just as easy not. It's just as easy to do that message, just as easy to not. And another big one is that I'll even talk about a little bit more, but it's just as easy to read 10 pages in a book, just as easy not to, right? Remember the I don't know, they're not the experts. The people who are at the top of their game spend 18 minutes a day working on that particular activity or whatever. It's 18 minutes a day that puts you at the top of the game. So easy to do, so easy not to do. Okay, so it's just as easy to speak kind words to people, and it's just as easy to yell at them, right? While the actions are really easy or simple to do every day, people won't because it's just as easy to skip them, right? Unsuccessful people are doing the same things, the same easy things, but their choice is the path of least resistance, or so they think, but it's not really. The path of least resistance is not reading the 10 page, not sending the message, not doing the exercise, not eating right, not being nice to people, not working on your marriage, not whatever it is. But it's not really the path of least resistance, and it doesn't get you to where you want. So you need, so the thing is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? So fill them with the mundane tasks that matter along with the actions, right? I thought this is example. Marathon runners eat and sleep, every day, right? Well, so do obese people, right? They eat and sleep every day. They just choose the wrong eating and sleeping. Maybe they're not getting 8 hours of sleep and maybe they're eating the desserts, right? Um, and the same thing with really people who are wealthy and people who are broke. They all read books, right? But one might be reading ones that level them up, like The Slight Edge, The Millionaire Next Door, the Big Leap, blah 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 blah, right? Others are choosing romance novels and whatever. You know what I mean? It just, your choice matters, right? So they're going to take you to the top or they're going to keep you at the bottom. All right. The difference is really the awareness, the application, the understanding of the slight edge, right? There, the successful people understand that the power of all those things that I just listed matter, right? They can lead to success or failure, right? You can be living the life of your dreams or you can be settling. Like, that's one of the things drives me crazy. Too many people say, good enough, I'm settling. It's not for me. It's, you know what? I'll never get there. I can't do that. It's not made for me. My parents were always broke. I'm going to be broke. Who am I to think I can do something different? Settling and mediocrity are the death of us. And it just all lies in the choice of the actions that you take. All right. So it works for you or against you. Um, so everything can be easy. It's just mastering that mundane, right? The daily disciplines done consistently over time will add up to success. So remember, number one, it's just as easy to do them as it is not to do them. And then the easy of not doing them is what compounds to unsuccess. So you face that choice every day. Number two, the results are invisible, okay? Seemingly invisible and don't matter at first, right? Because they just don't add, you know, the thing is they'll add up to success, but this little piece, the first day or week or whatever, you can't see it. It's invisible. What you're going after, you can't quite see yet, right? The steps to success look like they just aren't mattering at all until they do. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, my team is on fire, you know, or you know what? People are seeing my posts and they're responding, or, you know, you're gaining influence. Like, it takes time, right? It's not like all of a sudden that day you're an influential person and people trust you. It's that you've done all the steps to build up to that, right? Um, and again, kind of looking at money, like, it is so interesting. So he told about a story about these two people, like in their 20s. One person set aside $250 a month, and the other was like, you know, I'll do that later. Well, by the time the woman was like 43 or whatever, with compounding interest and whatever, by the time she retired, she had her $1 million. That was the goal. Well, when they hit 40, that guy was like, oh my gosh, like, I haven't done anything. I got to start really hunkering down. But even if he did the things, he's never going to be where she is, because he couldn't see the invisibility of, yes, I could have $1 million if I just do this thing, right? Because it's like, oh, it's $1 a day. If you ever have a jar around your house, the same thing. If you want to put money away for a vacation fund, if you tell people, guess what? If you you know, if you earn $300 with Plexus a month, you'll have an extra $1,200. Does that work for your vacation fund or your car down payment on a used car or whatever it is, right? The gym membership you want, the whatever it is, like, fill in the blank. You're just not seeing it at that moment. We're such an immediate gratification, Amazon Prime shipping, 2-day shipping kind of society. And it's just really hard. And while I'm saying all of these are things that you can share with your potentials, with your team, all that. It's just like, setting expectations. Gut health isn't going to happen overnight, but I'm telling you, the results, the compounding interest of it will change your life forever. You may not see the results when you're silver or senior silver. Maybe you don't have the kind of income that you want right away. But if you do that consistently you give yourself a 3-year timeline to build a business, which is nothing, you could be a 6-figure earner, right? And I'm going to help you keep thinking about that. I'm going to remind you of your why. I'm going to remind you that you want to be home with your family. I want to remind you that you want your husband to stop working 2 jobs. I want to remind you that you want to make your own schedule and you want to be able to work from the beach. Again, the future results are almost invisible until they aren't, right? But you have to look through the lens of the slight edge, okay? Same thing I've already talked about. Same thing with nutrition. So this is interesting from a different perspective, okay? Like we know what we're supposed to eat. Why do we eat cheeseburger and fries and fatty foods and fried food all the time, right? Because it doesn't give us that heart attack on that day, but it does 20 years down the road. We can't see that, right? It's killing us, but not today, right? So you can make the good choice of eating complex carbs and good protein and all those things. So, let's see. Same thing, not exercising isn't going to kill you today, but when you're obese and your heart has to work overtime and your lungs and all the organs in your body, it's killing you. Okay. Same thing. If you're not poor, if those, if you don't create those habits, right, that compound, right, with your relationships, with your finance, with your knowledge, with your business, with your nutrition, with your spiritual health, all of those things, it'll kill all that over time, right? And then when you see the success that you've already made, so you see that success, when you see that success, it's from those choices that you already made that nobody noticed over time. Nobody notices when you're doing those messages, but you're not adding people. You're doing the follow-up and your customers are happy, but it's been 2 years and they still haven't shared or referred anyone until they do, right? So number 3, because we're running out of time here, was they seem insignificant, like they really don't matter, but they do. The difference between success and failure is so subtle, right? So mundane that people just miss it, right? What I do right now doesn't matter. It's not true. What you do really does matter today, tomorrow, the next day. Give yourself 90 days, right? Successful people understand that the little choices that they make today matter. They may not seem significant, but they are, because when you do them over and over and over again, the compound effect kicks in. Little things really do equal big things, right? And here's the thing, it feels so ridiculously easy, right? But it's just as easy not to do. It really matters. The results aren't invisible. They aren't significant. Every single occurrence matters. It really does. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is just so good, right? And here's the thing. Now we know, right? I've put it in a little summary form. They're easy. They're just as easy not to do as they are to do, right? The results are invisible at first, right? But they do compound. And 3, they seem insignificant, like they don't matter, but they do, okay? And now you know. So what you do is you start focusing on that. You start looking for that in the little things that you do and start changing them. And I think you're just going to see a huge difference. Um, even with and I've not been as good as Lisa and Alita and probably even Nicole. Like they're hopping on Mondays. It doesn't work for me. So I don't hop on when they do, right? They're spending 2 solid hours in the beginning of a week working together on a Zoom, doing the seemingly mundane of sending messages, calling people, getting into three-way chats, getting people on calls, following up, inviting to challenges, seemingly mundane things over and over again. But Lisa will tell you, she messaged Dina 100 million times until she said yes. And see the success. Lisa now has a growing team member on her business. She's changing her business. She's changing Dina's life, and she's changing Dina's business. Like, you guys, it matters what we do. We are changing people's lives, their health and their finances, and it's no small thing. What we do matters, and I really want you to remember that. And we are beyond blessed to be able to do this. We really are. It's an honor. It's a privilege that we get to do that. And when you think about that, that's the kind of attitude and focus that you go into. I'm going back and forth with somebody right now, and it's just like, she doesn't see that, but I do. I just need to get her to take that first step. So anyway, you guys are amazing. I thank you so much for tuning in on Thursdays to hear me. I hope that this has been helpful. I love you guys, and let's continue crushing October. Remember, compensation Zoom tonight, and tell your people. And we want to get those free spiced pumpkin, and it's spiced pumpkin. It's not pumpkin spice, you guys. Lean into the hands of people before the 15th. Love you guys.